Part 1. A Quiet Beginning in Haran. Good evening, dear listener. As you settle into your favorite spot, let the day fall away. Let your shoulders drop. Let your thoughts slow. Tonight we travel far back in time to a quiet land called Haran. The stars hang gently above, and the breeze moves through tall grass. The land is dry but peaceful. Lanterns flicker in tents. A few animals settle down for sleep. It's calm, simple. Here lives a man named Abram. He's older now. His hair is grey. His hands are calloused. He's lived a good life. Quiet, honest, steady. He has a wife, Sarai, and many flocks, servants, wealth. But something in him still waits. Imagine Abram standing outside his tent one night. The sky above him is endless. No noise, no roads, just stars. And in the quiet, a voice. Not loud, not harsh, but clear. It speaks his name. Abram. He listens. Leave your country. Leave your father's house. Go to a land I will show you. Pause there. Imagine hearing that. No map, no direction, just trust. But the voice continues. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great. And through you, all the families of the earth will be blessed. Abram doesn't ask, where? He doesn't say, why now? He simply believes, and that belief becomes the beginning of everything. That night, under the stars, a quiet man says yes to something eternal. Let that thought rest with you as you drift deeper into calm. The journey is just beginning. Part 2. The First Steps into the Unknown. Welcome back, dear listener. Let your breathing stay soft and slow. You're safe here, surrounded by quiet. Abram wakes early. The sky is pale. Birds stir in the trees. He packs, not just clothes and food, but everything. Tents, tools, cooking pots. He gathers his herds. He calls his servants. Sarai walks beside him, silent, curious, strong. His nephew Lot decides to come too. They do not know where they're going. They just go. Can you picture it? A slow, steady caravan moving across the dry earth. Camels loaded with goods. Dust rising behind them. The sun high. But no one complains. This isn't a chase. It's not a rush. It's obedience. They travel south, past hills, past rivers, past cities with tall walls and strange customs. Abram doesn't settle. He watches, he listens, he waits. Then finally, a whisper in his spirit. Here, they stop at a place called Shechem, a quiet grove, oak trees, birds singing overhead. And there in that stillness, Abram hears it again. To your children, I will give this land. Children, Abram has none. But he doesn't question. He builds an altar, stones stacked by hand. No fancy design, just a simple thank you. He's a stranger here. No home, no roots. But he's never felt more certain. Imagine standing beside him, feeling the heat of the day fade as the sun sets, the scent of earth and wood, the stars returning overhead. A man far from home, but walking in faith. Part 3. Wandering and Waiting. The days pass slowly. The sun rises and falls. The wind moves gently over the hills. Abram and his household wander. Not lost, but not settled either. He moves from place to place, from Shechem to the hills near Bethel, then further south. Every time he stops, he pitches his tent. Every time he rests, he builds another altar, a small pile of stones, a quiet offering, a reminder, I'm still listening, but time keeps moving. There's no sign of the land becoming his, no sign of children, no answers, just quiet steps in a wide world. Imagine being Abram. Each morning he wakes up and looks around. Same empty land, same wandering path. But still he believes. He feeds the animals. He cares for his people. He builds. He prays. Faith isn't loud. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it's just continuing. One evening as they settle near a grove, Sarai brings him bread. They sit by the fire. No words, just the sound of crackling wood and night birds. They're growing older, and yet something deep inside him holds on, a quiet strength. He remembers the voice. He remembers the promise. And that's enough. Let yourself settle in that space. A quiet fire. The stars. Two people walking a long road, not knowing where it ends, but trusting the one who called them. Part 4. A detour in Egypt. The land changes. Dry winds blow harder. Grass fades. Streams dry up. A famine spreads across Canaan. Food is scarce. The animals grow thin. People grow restless. Abram watches the sky, the soil, the empty baskets. Then he decides they'll go to Egypt, the land of the Nile, of markets and grain and plenty. Just for a while, just to survive. The caravan turns south again. New roads, new faces, new rules. Egypt is not like Canaan. It's louder, faster, sharper. Abram feels it the moment they arrive. He grows cautious. He looks at Sarai, still beautiful, even in old age, and he worries. If they know you're my wife, they might kill me. So he tells her, say you're my sister. He is afraid. Even faithful men feel fear sometimes. Sarai agrees. She trusts him, and for a while the plan works. Egypt welcomes them. Abram is treated well, given livestock, servants, silver. But behind the ease, something is off. The Pharaoh notices Sarai, takes her into his palace. But then strange things start to happen. Illness, disturbance. Something isn't right. And soon the truth comes out. The Pharaoh returns Sarai to Abram. He is angry, but he doesn't harm them. Instead, he sends them away, back to the road, back to the unknown. But now with more wealth and more questions. Why did Abram lie? Why did he fear? Why did God still protect him? Because this story isn't about perfection. It's about learning, trusting, falling, and getting up again. Faith doesn't mean never failing. It means following, even after failure. Part 5. The land isn't big enough. Back in Canaan, the land stretches out under open sky, green again. Livestock grazing, streams flowing. Abram and Lot settle side by side. Their herds have grown, their servants are many, too many. Soon, space becomes tight. The shepherds argue, tempers rise, whispers spread through the tents. Abram hears the tension. He doesn't like it. This land was meant to be a place of peace, not fighting. So one morning he walks with Lot to a high ridge. From here they can see everything, rolling fields, distant rivers, scattered trees. Let's not quarrel, Abram says gently. We're family. If you go left, I'll go right. If you go right, I'll go left. Lot looks around. He sees the Jordan Valley, lush, green, full of life, like Egypt. Easy living. He chooses that. He heads east to the cities, to Sodom and Abram. He stays in the hills, quieter land, harder land, but still his heart is at peace. He watches Lot disappear into the distance, dust rising behind him. Then again, a voice. Look around you, Abram. North, south, east, west. All this land, I will give it to you and your children forever. Your offspring will be like the dust of the earth, too many to count. Abram doesn't see it yet. He has no children, just the promise. But once again, he builds another altar, another quiet thank you. Imagine him standing there, wind in his hair, alone, but never truly alone. He doesn't rush. He doesn't chase. He waits. Let that stillness wrap around you. Sometimes, stepping back brings more peace than pushing forward. Part 6. The Rescue of Lot. Time passes. Lot lives in Sodom now, one of the wealthy cities in the valley. The land is easy, the people are not. Far from Abram, Lot has settled into a different life. Then trouble comes. 4 kings from the east invade the valley. They sweep through the land, fast and fierce. They take everything, people, goods, livestock. Lot is captured, taken far north. Abram hears the news. He could say, Lot made his choice. He could stay in peace, but he doesn't. He gathers 318 men, just trained servants from his household, and without delay, he rides all the way to Dan, near the edge of the land. Quiet Abram, the wanderer, becomes Abram the rescuer. At night, under cover of stars, he attacks. Quick, brave, wise, the kings flee. The captives are freed. Lot is safe. It's a quiet victory. No trumpets, no crown, just relief, gratitude, a long ride home. On the way back, Abram is met by a strange figure, Melchizedek, the king of Salem, a priest, a man of peace. He brings bread and wine. He blesses Abram. Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And Abram gives him 1/10 of everything. No pride, no boasting, just thanks. Later, another king, king of Sodom, offers Abram rewards, but Abram refuses. I won't take a thread or a sandal strap. I don't want anyone to say, I made Abram rich. He walks away with nothing except peace. Imagine that feeling, rescuing someone you love, honoring what's right, then choosing quiet over riches. There's strength in restraint and faith in every step. Part 7. A Promise in the Dark. The night is quiet. The stars are bright. Abram is alone. He has land now. He has peace. He has honor. But still, no child, no heir. Everything promised still feels far away. Then again the voice comes, not thunder, not fire, just stillness. Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield. Your reward will be very great. Abram speaks this time, honestly. Lord, what can you give me? I have no child. My servant will inherit everything. There's no anger in his voice, just a tired kind of sadness. But the voice answers, he will not be your heir. Your own son will come from your body. Then God does something simple. He brings Abram outside. Look at the sky, he says. Count the stars if you can. That's how many your descendants will be. And Abram looks up. Imagine it. A wide, endless sky. Stars in every direction. Cold air on your face. The sound of your own breathing. And a deep voice saying, so shall your offspring be. Abram believes, not because it's logical, not because it's easy, but because it's true. That belief, that moment of trust under the stars, becomes something eternal. God makes a covenant, a deep promise. He asks Abram to prepare a sacrifice, animals divided in two, as was the custom. Then as the sun sets, a deep sleep falls on Abram. Darkness covers him, a sense of weight, of mystery. Then a vision. God speaks again, about the future, about a people who will be strangers in a foreign land, about hardship, but also about deliverance. And then a symbol appears like fire and smoke, passing between the pieces of the sacrifice. The covenant is sealed, not by what Abram does, but by what God promises. Part 8. Sarai's plan. Time goes on, still no child. Sarai watches Abram pray, watches him build altars, watches the stars. But she feels the weight of years, the silence of her own body. So one day she speaks, the Lord has kept me from bearing children. Take my servant Hagar. Maybe I can have a child through her. It was a common practice in their time. Logical, normal. Abram agrees. He listens. He hopes. Hagar becomes pregnant. At first Sarai watches from a distance, but then she begins to feel something else. Jealousy, regret, resentment. Hagar feels it too. She starts to act differently, maybe a little proud, maybe a little distant. The household grows tense. Sarai comes to Abram. This is your fault. She looks down on me now. Abram says, she's your servant. Do what seems right to you. And Sarai, in her pain, treats Hagar harshly. So Hagar runs into the desert, alone, pregnant, afraid. And there by a spring something unexpected happens. An angel appears, not in thunder, not in judgment, but gently. Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going? She answers honestly, I'm running away. The angel speaks with kindness. Go back. I will multiply your descendants. You will have a son. Name him Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your suffering. And Hagar says something no one else in the Bible says. You are the God who sees me. Imagine that. A woman alone and rejected, seen. She returns, quiet, changed, and Ishmael is born. But the story isn't over. The promise to Abram still waits. Part 9. The covenant renewed. 13 years pass. Ishmael grows tall and strong. Abram is now 99 years old. His beard is long. His steps are slower. He has watched the years slip by. Still faithful, still waiting, still wondering. Then, once again, the voice comes. I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. Abram falls face down. He hears words that shake the dust from his soul. This is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations, and something changes. No longer will your name be Abram, you will be called Abraham. From exalted father to father of many. And Sarai, her name changes too. She will be called Sarah. I will bless her and give you a son by her. Abraham laughs, not mocking, just surprised. Shall a child be born to a man 100 years old, and Sarah 90? But the answer is steady. Yes, you will name him Isaac, and my covenant will be with him. Then something personal, something physical. God gives Abraham a sign, a mark of the covenant, circumcision. It's not flashy, not public, just a quiet physical reminder of a promise written in flesh. That same day, Abraham obeys. Every male in his household, young, old, servant, family, is circumcised. No delay, no questions, just faith. Again, the promise is closer now. After years of waiting, wandering, failing, and learning, the impossible is about to begin. And Abraham, he is no longer just a wanderer. He's a carrier of something eternal. Part 10. A visitor, a laugh, a promise kept. The heat of the day settles on the land. Abraham sits at the entrance of his tent near the oaks of Mamre. The sky is still, the earth quiet. Then he sees them, 3 men, standing nearby. Strangers, travelers. He rises quickly, bows low. Please, stay a while, rest. Let me bring you water and bread. They agree. Abraham rushes into the tent. Sarah, quick, make cakes, fresh. Use the best flour. He runs to the herd, chooses a calf, tells the servant, prepare it. Soon, the men sit beneath the tree, eating in the shade. Abraham stands nearby, quietly watching. Then one of them speaks. Where is Sarah, your wife? In the tent, Abraham replies. The man smiles. I will return to you next year, and Sarah will have a son. Inside the tent, Sarah hears, and she laughs. Not a joyful laugh, more like disbelief. Me? Old? Worn out? She whispers. And my husband too. Then the voice asks Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? Is anything too hard for the Lord? Sarah, startled, steps forward. I didn't laugh, she says. But the voice is gentle. Yes, you did. And then they leave. The wind picks up. The sun shifts. But the words remain. A promise. A timeline. A child. A year from now, everything will change. And sure enough, just as spoken, Sarah will laugh again. But next time, it won't be disbelief. It will be joy. The long wait, the strange journey, the mistakes, the faith. All of it leading to a child named Isaac, which means laughter. Not the end of the story, just the next beginning. Now, dear listener, let that settle into you. You don't have to see everything. You don't have to know where the path leads. You just have to keep walking, like Abraham, like Sarah,